Hello and welcome to another episode of It Came From the Page. And technically you're seeing this on Tuesday, but this is the day after my last video because this is everything I got on my actual birthday as far as hauls go. Now, this is not going to be as large as it was last time because there was no fill up a bag for $5, but hey, maybe I'll go back to that place and do that later on. So yeah, let's just go through everything I got. My second part of my book haul. Flesh Eaters by Joe McKinney. I don't know anything about this book. It looks like it's probably a zombie book. So I did hit up a few Value Villages and other towns, and they always have the buy 4, get 1 free sale. So that was one of those ones where I was like, oh, I guess I'll try this out. Never heard anything about this. I don't know this author, but hey, it's zombies. Why not? Meh, what could possibly go wrong? Then I also got Black Ashes by Noel Scanlon. Now, I feel like I have either seen this cover somewhere or I've heard of this author, but from the top of my head, I don't know either. I'm not quite sure where I first saw this or if I've ever seen this before, but it certainly is a striking cover that made me gonna read it. This is just a a YA Star Wars tale. I owned all of these as a kid, so I'm picking these up. This is basically Star Wars The Last of the Jedi, and I know they did an official, this is Obi-Wan's in between episode 3 and 4. They actually did a show of that recently, and this was what existed before that, where there was a bunch of just YA books that covered that in-between time, in between episodes 3 and episodes 4 of Star Wars. And something I was really happy to find, this is Star Wars Galaxy of Fear. This is the first one of these, and this is when Star Wars tried to get in on the Goosebumps market. So they're like horror tales set in the Star Wars universe, and they have a very Goosebumps-y feeling. I don't know how well this is going to show up on camera, but yeah, it is pretty damn cool. Next up, something I think is really, really cool is Blair Witch Project, a dossier. This is got all of these little things from the Blair Witch Project movie, and it kind of puts them all together, and it's supposed to be this is kind of like a documentary style book about everything that happened in the first Blair Witch movie. This stuff is really cool. There's actually a few Blair Witch novels that got released as well to coincide with the film. Some of those go for pretty crazy expensive amounts. But this one, from 1999, so this is exactly to coincide with the movie, and I just think that's really, really cool. It's kind of like a little coffee table book. Some little guys I got here. These are all media tie-in books for video games. So I own 2 of these, so I picked up 2 Resident Evil books. So these are books based on the Resident Evil video games. This is for Resident Evil 0. It's pretty much a novelization of that game. And this is a novelization of Code Veronica. All of these are written by S.D. Perry. That's actually a female writer. And I own the novelizations for Resident Evil 2 and 3, and I believe soon one of my friends bought me the novelization for Resident Evil 1, so I will have all of the actual books made of specifically the games. There's a few interquels there that were written just on their own, but I just wanted to make sure I got all the ones that were actually based on the video games first. I also picked up this little cool book, The Spell. Mainly got this because there's a really cool looking cover. I love this. I got this from a bookstore that instead of having a horror section, they had a dark fantasy section that was just horror. And I'm like, why don't you just call it horror? What's going on here? But hey, it had The Spell in it. That was pretty cool. So I was very happy to find that. I got the first Doom novel the other day, and I just found the second one today. So this is the second Doom novel. I cannot believe there were multiple novels written about Doom. Doom is not a complex game or complex story by any means. So I cannot wait to figure out what did they put in this novel. Like what would the novelizations for these even look like? So very excited for that. I got another of the Traveler series. This is Traveler number 9. I do not own this one. I own like a very weird eclectic amount of books from the Traveler series. I haven't read any of these, but I was like, oh, I'm going to grab this because it's one I don't have. And they just seem like a fun pulp series. Night by Alan Rogers. Don't know anything about this. I just love this cover so much. This is a chonker. It's a big one. And it's always kind of interesting because, horror books that are chonkers are either like amazing or like a slog. So it's kind of a, who knows. I found the very first erotic blood, Hot Blood, Tales of Erotic, of Provocative Terror. And this is erotic horror. And I own Hotter Blood and a whole bunch of other entries into this series of like short story collections of smut and horror combined. And I'm very, very happy that I found the first one. Weirdly enough, there were 2 of these there, and this was the one that was in better condition. I don't know what it is about my area, but they are smutsers, I guess. The Further Adventures of Batman. This is a short story collection. We're featuring a bunch of writers, and it has some Batman stories in it. And one of those writers is Joe R. Lansdale, and I really liked his Batman tale when I read it for Horror Mayhem, so I'm really excited to read more Joe R. Lansdale-esque stuff. Here's one I do not know anything about. Lost Angels by David J. Shao. Now, I own his more well-known book, Kilgriff, which is like, again, that's a pretty big chunker, but that's a Paperbacks from Hell. This is the one that's released after that, because it says from the author of Kilgriff. I don't know anything about this. I'm pretty sure it's like a collection of 4 short stories, and it says it's splatterpunk, so could be pretty cool. The only new book I bought with my birthday money is I went out to a independent bookstore and I bought a copy of Manhunt by Gretchen Felker Martin. Really, really, really excited to read Manhunt, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait to read Manhunt. It's been on my list since it came out, and I'm just finally getting around to buying it, so very happy. Another weird little one. This is Halo Hunters in the Dark. So this is a book from the Halo universe. And, I just admitted I've never read any of these, but I keep collecting them. This one I specifically wanted because it was done by Peter David. And also, it looks like there's little dinosaur guys and elites. And elites are like little Predator ripoff guys. And they're fighting dinosaurs. You're saying you don't want to read that? I don't know what's wrong with you. Next up, all of this stuff is from my favorite bookstore that I really, really like. So you will see why I love this bookstore. But this is a really fun bookstore that's just about 2 hours away from me, so I only get to it when I have friends who come down or family who will drive me there. So I was really, really, really happy to get there. And this place called Westgate Books in Saskatoon won't mean anything to 90% of you. But they have so many cool things, so let's go through them. Planet of the Apes, number 1. This is the novelization of one of the TV series episodes. Again, all of those Planet of the Apes ones are collected in big omnibuses, but I was super happy to find them in their original skinny versions. Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. Amazing. I love one of my favorites of the Planet of the Apes movies, so I cannot believe I found that. I found a Guy Smith book, Return of the Werewolf. Never heard of this one. This is a super short book. It's it's like 112 pages. It might as well be a novella. I don't think this is a sequel to anything. I think this is just a trashy little Guy and Smith book. I don't know. All of Guy and Smith books are trashy. I do quite like the ones that I've read. I hope that continue. Do you like them? Kong, Skull Island. So this is the movie novelization for the movie Kong, Skull Island. And as you know, I am a amateur King Kong collector and film historian, so I am very happy to get another King Kong book that I did not own. Always looking to fulfill and complete my King Kong collection. One day I'll have to do a video showcasing all that stuff. Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Another one of the Planet of the Apes novelizations. So I'm so happy to find these ones. Here is a novelization for Terminator Salvation, a pretty bad movie, but this one is written by Alan Dean Foster, so I kind of expect that this is going to be better than the movie. That kind of ties into, I do a podcast about the Alien and Predator universes, and yeah, so I like to get anything that crossed over with those universes, and yes, Terminator did, and I own the novelizations for Terminator 1, 2, 3, I might as well get the novelization for 4 while I'm at it. I'm now looking at this thing, and I think I left something behind. Well, that's not good. This is Terminator Salvation, Cold War by Greg Cox, which is a book based off of a bad movie, Terminator Salvation, as I just established, but interesting. We will see. There was another Terminator Salvation book there called, I don't know, but it was by Timothy Zahn, which kind of surprised me, and that's been on my list forever, and I thought I had bought that, but it's now appearing that I did not buy that, so that's a bummer. Oh, well, something for next time, I guess. This one is Strange Seed by T.M. Wright. This is definitely a Paperbacks from Hell. I definitely recognize this. 100%. And then Whitley Strieber's Majestic. So, yeah, so that's just the kind of second batch of things that I picked up and bought during my birthday book haul. Hope you guys have a good weekend, and if there are any of these books that you really think that I should read, let me know. Well, it's Sunday today, so this is the second half of the video, and I may have gone back to the place that had fill your bags for $5. So I got another bag full of books from that place, and let me tell you, they restocked in the 2 days since I was there last. So let's get into this because there are some gems in here. First off, thank goodness I found myself a Lone Star book. I was looking for Lone Star books the entire weekend, and this is the only one I found. Plenty of long arm books everywhere. It's not that I don't enjoy a good long arm book, but I'm a Lone Star man, as we all know from June on the Range. This is 106. Way higher than the ones I've had so far. The highest one that I have other than that is like 39, so that's kind of a surprise. Next is a series of books that are like men's adventure books that I guarantee have got to be like uber levels of trash and may be really bad. But that is TNT Kingdom of Death. I like that. He's whoever this TNT guy is in the hospital. He's wearing the masks and the suit, so he's going to do surgery. And then TNT Spiral of Death, when Mr. TNT goes to a comic convention and dresses as Rambo, apparently. Yeah, those are just, adventure books that I've never heard of, and I guarantee are next level trash, but they look super fun. Here is a cool one. This is Phone Call. Look at this cover. It's such a cool cover, and I am just really interested in this one. Dial D for death. A French innocent girl just off the farm answers the ringing phone in a subway station. A harried corporate executive picks up the phone in his private office, and a voluptuous young woman pushes aside her lover for the night as she answers the phone at her bedtime. A brutish taxi driver takes a call in his rundown flat, and instant death as a lethal electric charge comes hurtling through. the receiver. I'm pretty sure that this is the book that the movie that very very Canadian movie where if you pick up the phone your head explodes. So I think that was actually, I had no idea that was based off a book, and I think that's what it is, because that's what it sounds like. Has an amazing cover on it, and I cannot wait for Murder Phone Calls. Renegade Steel. This one is actually just a much better version of a book that I've already owned, and I was like, oh wow, this is in a much better condition. So I will just donate the older one that I have. Or if anyone's interested in Renegade Steel, the 5th one of this weird pulp series. Monkey Station. Don't really know what this is about, but there's a monkey. It looks like it's kind of Planet of the Apes. It's like they're doing experiments on a monkey, and now a monkey can talk. What is the monkey going to say? This one I picked up because it's a Tor supernatural horror, but the cover is kind of very odd looking. So this is the suiting, and yeah, I have no idea what this actually is. It does have a quote from John Ferris on it. And what it says is, the suit almost glowed in the dim Toronto subway locker. Yeah, another Canadian book. Summoning Viktor Frankl with a call that reached into the depths of his soul. Smooth fabric, hand tailoring, extraordinary workmanship. This was a legendary Blake Toby suit. A suit for a special man. A powerful man. A man with the world at his feet. Victor swore to become that man. He would remake himself in the suit's image. Body, mind, and soul. It would be easy. He could feel the suit's power coursing through him. Soon that power would be his. But he would no longer be Viktor Frankl. So yeah, killer suits. So we've got killer phones, we've got killer suits. We're really running the gamut here. This one I'm really interested in. I have no idea what it is, but this is John Lutz's Bone Grinder. This is basically some weird thing is happening at a lake. And you know me, it seems like a very good summer read. I'll probably read this one like super-de-duper soon. Have you ever read any John Lutz books or heard about that? I've never heard about that or read any John Lutz books, so I don't really know. This is one that has been on my list for a while, but I don't really remember anything about it other than the cover. This is Victims with a knife as a T. Well, there you go. Yeah, it just looks like a suspense thriller from the 80s. This one looks rad. When a Darkness Falls. I just love the cover of like this dude and the sunglasses and classic 80s cover on that. Here's another one that I've had on my list, but I really don't know anything about it. Lost. A novel by Gary Devon. And it's got this little step back cover in here. And it just, little step back cover of a bunch of kids looking scared. So hey, maybe it's kind of like, some kind of 80s kids adventure book. I don't know what this is. I'd be interested in reading it. I know it's been on my list for some reason. I know it's on like one of my I think my thrift books wish list. So I don't know why. So this is interesting. So this is The Shadow of Cain. This is a fictional crime book written by Vincent Bugliosi, and Vincent Bugliosi is the one who wrote Helter Skelter, which is the very famous Manson book. So I kind of find it funny that that he has written a true crime book. So that's interesting. Another one which I've seen the cover for, but I don't really know anything about it. The Strangers by Mort Castle. A really cool looking cover there. I really do like this, and it's all embossed. So really cool. So I started reading that book, The Experiment, which is the one with the weird egg that I hauled on Friday, and I was reading that yesterday. And it got me in the mood for some more medical thrillers, so as I was going through, I picked up some of those. The Echo Factor by James Caan. Now, James Caan is a movie novelization artist, but this is not a movie novelization. This is just its own book. And it says, a first-rate thriller, a solid challenge to Marvin Cook and Michael Crichton. Highly doubt that, but I really do love the cover. Again, we got some nice embossing. Oh, how I wish we still lived in that beautiful world of embossing covers. Fever. This is by Robert Cook. I know these are the most famous medical thrillers. I've passed these up like a bajillion times at thrift stores before. But if you're getting a bag for like $5, you might as well pick that up. Heard it's pretty good. Never seen it though. I've actually never seen anyone talk about it or read it, but I've heard it's not too bad. I know that was from, I believe, Paperbacks from Hell. I know some. That's how I originally kind of got informed about Robin Cook. So I'd be interested to see how they actually are. Now, B.W. Batten, I know, is kind of a cool horror writer of this time period, and I've never heard of this one. This is Programmed for Terror. I like, again, got some embossments here with this, like, bloody handprints. It just sounds like an evil computer. That's what the back cover sounds like. Cannot wait. Here is another one that's clearly ripping off The Exorcist and Omen. So this is one of those things that's like right in that early paperback horror boom where the biggest things were like Exorcist, Omen, and then James Tyrion's The Other. And those are like the big, huge books of the time. So now we have Damon by C. Terry Klein Jr. I've heard of the author before. This is not one of the books that I'd heard about him, but it sounds pretty amazing. Evil Child. I should have a month where I just read Evil Kid book because I'm getting a lot. Peter Benchley's The Deep. Don't really need too much to explain about that, but hey, I was like, oh, again, I have this huge giant bag here, so I'm going to put that in there. I do quite like Jaws. I was talking about that a few videos ago. I do like Jaws quite a bit. Tabernacle, which is, it reads, the back of this reads like this is a slasher set in Vatican City, and like, hell yeah. How have we never gotten a slasher movie set in Vatican City? I will never know, but that sounds amazing. I'm sure it's probably just kind of like a police procedural kind of thing, but you know, it still sounds pretty rad. The Altar Boy. Mainly just grabbed this for the amazing cover. Classic looking horror cover. I believe there are a few other books that literally use this exact type of like a face and a candle slowly melting. So it's pretty typical of that time period. Here is a weird one. Is this Iapetus? I don't know. Iapetus. It just, the only thing colder than space is a killer's heart. So it sounds like kind of like a mixture of like a crime thriller type book with a sci-fi book. Those are always a blast to read when they're written well, obviously. One of the only novelizations, but one I was very happy to find. This is the novelization for John Carpenter's Starman by Alan Dean Foster. Never actually read that. I've actually never seen that movie, so it'd be interesting to see if I like that movie as well. I don't know. Don't worry, we're only about halfway through. The Window of Ratchets. Oh, no, sorry, The Widow of Ratchets. Okay, I was about to say, The Window of Ratchets? What the fuck? No, The Widow of Ratchets. I just love how it looks like she's got a bunch of evil doggies. I don't know. Just a lady with a bunch of evil doggies. She sounds pretty cool. What's she up to these days? I don't know. We'll find out. Fatal Obsession by D.B. Baylor. I mean, just look at that freaking cover, man. So cool looking. And this one is marked horror. So we will see. We will see if it's one of those things where they taken something that would normally be like a suspense book and made it a thriller, or like if that's a slasher or what. I'm not sure. And is D.B. Taylor secretly D.B. Cooper? I don't know. This one is a fun shiny cover. The shiny covers always they don't age well because they just kind of lose their shine and look kind of weird after a while. But this is Save Joanna, a novel of exorcism and possession. So, not sure about that. What's going on with her? The Experiment. Literally, Yeah, literally this has the same title as the book that I'm reading. So I'm reading The Experiment. Should I follow up The Experiment by reading The Experiment? I don't know. This is a book about an experiment. There you go. I don't know. Beauty by Brian D'Amato. And look at that. This kind of looks like a fun little book there. It does have a compliment by Dean Koontz on the cover, but I won't hold that against it, even though I despise Mr. Koontz. This is from 1992. Starts as old as me. And I think this one is very much kind of a play off of Frankenstein, it sounds like. So, hell yeah. Who does not love a modern, for the era, for the time it was written, Frankenstein story? So, one of the big reasons why I wanted to go back was to get this book, which is Rabid by David Ann. And I thought that I had owned this book, and then when I got home from doing that haul, I was looking through my collection and was like, oh crap, I don't own this book. And I've wanted to own this book for a while. And it's a killer doggy. It's a killer doggy book. Always have to read the killer doggy books because they're man's best friends, but what if they're man's greatest enemies? Oh no. And also just because I read The Pack, and The Pack is really, really good. So I'm not sure if all of these evil dog books are actually really good. So we will see. This is a John Ferris book. I do not believe I have read any John Ferris books. These are pretty big. Got a nice little step back cover of a lady screaming. Yeah. I don't really know much about him. I don't know about this. This sounds like the unwashed children of Eve. Whoa. So some weird biblical horror, but they're also vampires, it sounds like. I'm into it. Beware the Child by Ruth Foster. Where is the nun's face? Where did it go? Oh no, oh no, oh no. Where is your face? Widow's face, sweetie? I bought myself another Ridley Strieber book. And I know these are all going to be very, very trashy. Because these are post-Strieber going on to write Communion. And I know he was very alien obsessed. And I know these are pretty weird and out there books. But also, look at this. It's this alien's got a shiny eye. He's got a shiny eye. And I think, this is a non-fiction book, which is amazing. Quote-unquote non-fiction. Just about done here. Just about done. Deathstalk. Oh. Looks like a guy with a gun. In Silence Woods, a deadly hunter stalks his human prey. That sounds like, Deadliest Game, but in the 80s, so that's cool. Avalanche! Bap, bap, bap. An avalanche. I believe I've seen the terrible movie based off of that. Okay, we only have 4 more books left. This is one of the few books that I did not get from the $5 thing. So this is Jack the Ripper, which is a novel based on a 2-part miniseries that I've never heard of. So this is a novelization of a 2-part miniseries starring Michael Caine as Jack the Ripper, or maybe he's investigating Jack the Ripper. I don't know, but I'm interested. Thomas Altman's Dark Places. Now, I did have to postpone reading Intruder because I was going to read Intruder for June. Because it was part of my slasher month, and I was trying to read it, and it was quite good. It just didn't think it was going to end up being a slasher, so I kind of took it off the list. It took behind, but I did enjoy it, and I will revisit that one eventually. So I am very excited to read another Thomas Altman book. I think this just means I only have a few more Thomas Altman books because I need True Bride and a few other little things. So I'm always really happy to find that. Mainly just because I love Black Christmas so much. Another B.W. Batten book. This is Demented Don't know anything about this. This does sound pretty gruesome and grueling. I don't know. This one sounds like I don't know if I'd be into that one, but sounds like someone got chained up or something. And then here's just a really funny, trashy looking book, just for the hell of it. And this is The Other Assassin. The other man who killed JFK. JFK blown away. What else do I have to say? Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. Goodbye.